Greetings and welcome to another episode coming to you from the Thought Exchange Cafe, where we bring you educational, motivational, inspirational content, as well as bringing you information to eliminate some of your fears and some of your doubts. And this content you may be able to utilize in your daily life, navigating some of the rough seas of life. Because as we know right now in our times, these political, economical, and social times that we're living in, things are kind of hard, but also they're hard mentally and emotionally. Today, I have with me in studio is Racx, and I want to just make sure that I spell that right. It's Racx. And you can check out Racx on YouTube. And Racx is originally from New Bedford, but he now resides here in Boston, Massachusetts. He also is the owner of Racked Up Clothing, and that is spelled RACD Up Clothing, and they're all custom sets. And I've also had the opportunity of wearing some of his apparel as well as owning some of his apparel. And what I want to say about this young man that's in studio with me today is that this young man has come a long way. This young man has experienced his ups and downs. However, the only way I can describe this man is this way: is this man has discovered clarity over chaos, discipline over dopamine, repetition over reaction. And one thing I've watched him do is override his emotion with action. On that note, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit more about yourself, Rax?
So my name is Rex. I met Brother Davis shortly after being released. I did about 2 years. I had enough time to think, get my mind where it's at. Now, I went in at a very young age. I didn't really know what I wanted for myself, so I'm just doing what everybody else is doing, but adding my own flavor to it, which it didn't lead me nowhere well. So once I got released, I started doing clothes. I started making more music and being more active with what I was taught growing up. Growing up, I wasn't taught how to play sports or anything like that. I was taught as a little boy to be a man, fix things, be handy, and those are some tools I use in life still to this day.
Mm. Thank you for being very transparent with that. You know, I'm grateful to have you here in the studio with me
Yes,
today
sir.
because you have a story that, and stories resonate with people. And in today's environment, with everything that's going on with our youth, everything that's going on with our young folks, and, they get a bad rap sometime. And there's some things that we can't blame them for, because some of those things we have to take a look back at self for just as well too. Could you give the audience a little bit of your history of the path that you were on, and what changed that trajectory for you?
So I was pretty much living, we all know the repeated cycle to the streets. Growing up, I wasn't gang affiliated. I grew up in the projects and everything just led to people envying. And then that leads to me having to get out of character and do such and such, which that's not something I'm into anymore. I'm just trying to be paid, make sure my family's taken care of real priorities in life other than something that is not gonna get me nowhere at all.
No doubt, no doubt. We was talking the other day, and we was talking, and the conversation that we was talking about was moving forward moving forward in our today lives and not looking back at the past. Because I myself was incarcerated too for quite some time. And coming and getting out of the system, I was asked to come back and speak to some of the young folks and speak to some of the other cats that were coming in and going out. And one of the probation officers said to me, she says, "Don't come back here, Tony." She said, "Don't come out." She says, "Once you are out, you are out." even though I wanted to come back, I felt the need to want to go back and be able to help some of those folks that were, coming out or that was going through and didn't know what to expect in coming out. However, I had to take heed to what she said to me, because what it brought back to me is that by me going back in there, right? Even if it was just to speak to help another out there, to help another that was coming out or getting ready to come out, maybe I was putting myself back in the harm's way. And we was having that conversation the other day. And there was something that you said to me about they offered you even to pay you to come back. And you said to them, no, could you, why was that?
So pretty like I just looked at it as like I'm not gonna say everybody would have looked at it in this way, but who am I to them? I'm just like them. I'm telling them I was just like them. It just I feel like I didn't want to I'm not going to say waste my breath, but there's other ways of showing. And maybe later in the line that is something I could be into, but right now I'm just focused on me and my progress in life.
In in your progress, I've watched you grow over the last couple years. And for me, I'm impressed, right?
Appreciate
Because I want to let folks know that if you see this young man outside and you see him and he has a nice car, he dresses nice, there's things that he decided that he wanted to do, and he took that path on doing it, and he's not doing it to impress anyone. He's doing it to impress upon you those things that you can do too if you decide to make some different decisions and some different choices in your life. Could you speak a little bit on that?
So I have in myself, I strongly believe that if you want to do something, if you really, really want to do something, you can do it. You just have to put the same steps, the same like methods that you're using for stuff that maybe you shouldn't be doing. You put that same energy into something positive, it's gonna be a way better outcome. For example, there's strategies that people use in the streets, growing up in the streets. That's the same thing. You could go get some clothes, sell the clothes. You could go get anything, any type of merchandise that is legal that you could market, that you could leave behind when you're no longer here and it's still producing something. But what I'm trying to say is anything you put your mind to, you could do. For an example, I had all the reasons to not do what I do now and just go back and wild, crashing out, doing all this stuff. But realistically, I'm being accountable with myself. The big part was being accountable with myself and seeing like, is that gonna get me? What is that gonna get me? When I already know the two outcomes of living the repeated cycle. So I chose what I wanted and I went and got it. And anything that I don't have that I want now, it's on its way.
No doubt. So I hope you heard him clearly, because he just put you up on some game. He just put you up on some real game. And it's not the game that you play like a Monopoly board, right? Even though learning Monopoly is good, especially in today's environment with real estate and things of that nature. But the biggest real estate, right, that the brother just got through talking about is the real estate of the mind, changing the mindset, right? Moving from a mindset of mediocre, moving from a street corner mindset to a mindset of a real boss. And when we was talking about going back into, to speak inside the courthouses or the prisons or the facilities, right? What it brought me, what it reminded me of is that, you know, I can teach better by my actions. I can teach better by what people see me doing,
Yeah.
because lip service is just what it is. Lip service is lip service. And in today's environment, lip service is like every day,
Yeah.
right? But yes, still we see somebody's gonna tell me something, but then I'm seeing them doing something different.
Actions speak louder than words.
Exactly, exactly. There's this quote, and I forget who says it. And he says that I can't believe what you say because I see what you do. You know, for you, my brother, I can believe what you say. because I've seen how you move, right? You've stayed consistent on your path of upward ascension.
Yeah, it took me longer, but I still got it.
You know, tell us a little bit about some of the obstacles that you faced in getting to where you are today.
So a lot of the obstacles I faced was, I'm not gonna say not being real with myself, but before I came to the conclusion where being accountable with my actions took a big part in my life, I wasn't being accountable. So I was just doing as I do, telling myself like, "Oh, I'm young, I'm young, I'm young. I got time, I got time." The clock ain't stopping for none of us. So my biggest downfall on before I am where I am now was just thinking I had so much time. There's not enough time in this life. So you gotta live it and accomplish everything that you can accomplish, and not settle for less, or not settle for something that's not gonna build you up and bring greatness. Because if you're gonna do something, just don't do it because someone else wants you to do it. Because if someone wants you to go do something that you know for sure is not gonna get you nothing, are you gonna do it? I'm not.
And once again, I hope that the audience really heard what your brother just said. Just repeat that one more time, man, what you said about following that way.
So following that way is just wait.
The part of following that way that's going to get you back to where you came from and
uh,
not moving forward.
So just, you got to stay true to yourself. If you're not your own leader, someone else is going to be your leader, and it's most likely not going to be a great outcome.
So, and I just want the audience to know that right here, the Thought Exchange Cafe, right? None of this stuff is rehearsed. None of this stuff is something that we just wrote down and we said we're going to come and deliver or convey a message to you. All this is from real life situations, right? Things that we have lived and things that we have overcome. And we're here to share some of that information with someone who might be going through and don't know how to overcome or don't know what the next step is, because that's why a lot of people stop moving because they don't know what the next steps are. And, you know, me and brother Racx here, right? We believe in a God that's bigger than us, right? Because if it wasn't for God, right, we would not be here in front of you delivering this message. Nor would we be doing some of the things that we're doing now in life, right? And staying positive, right? What ha- what have you done in order? Let me just get it right because what do you do to stay positive?
To stay positive, I just look at all the greatness that I already have accomplished, and anything I have accomplished now, yeah, it's cool, but it's not where I'm going to be at. So it's just knowing that I'm going to continue to be progressing to get to the top is just great.
So basically, basically what it is, you started to see your obstacles as not obstacles, but as stepping stones and springboards to get to that next level.
Yeah,
Mm.
because this is life. I can't sit here and call brother and complain and continue to complain. I got to do something about it. Just like, for an example, in a positive way. I mean, in an unpositive way. If someone's provoking you, the first thing you want to do is hit them, right? But I'm not hitting them. I'm taking another step instead of that. Because say I do that, it could result to me going down. And I'm not saying on the floor. I'm saying it could bring me down. I could catch a case, or no more cases over here.
You know, I think we're gonna title this episode from prisons to praise, right? You know, because they talk about being able to sit with yourself. And today, a lot of our young folks can't sit with themselves. They become bored, right?
Yeah.
And in that boredom, they begin to make not so good decisions and choices.
Yeah, I mean, I still get bored, but that's when I pull up the notepad, I'll start writing, or I'll listen to beats, or I'll do some sketches. I'm like, this something that could is this something that could sell? And other than that, check in with family, talk to them. If I'm bored, there's no need to be out here just doing stuff because you're bored. Everything has to make sense.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. You know, for you to be where you are right now, and I'm talking about emotionally, right? You are now in control of your emotions. You have gained and developed some emotional intelligence, right? Just going that has helped you, right, to overcome some obstacles, right? But also at the same time, you can see the obstacle coming, and now you say, you know, I see it coming, and this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah. I kind of going about that. In a daily life, I be very mindful, open minded, and just paying attention to my DBT skills. Because a lot of people might not know what DBT means, but it's a lot of great skills that could get you to be a better person, think, act, everything. You can't control someone else's thoughts or someone else's actions, but you control your own.
That's deep.
Just staying mindful.
That's deep, man. You talking some real knowledge now, man. Because even where I'm at this stage in my life, right? You know, I'm not gonna be telling my age on here, but it's all good, right? You know, I've learned some things from you, and I've learned some things from some other young folks, right? Because in today's society, right, we're in some different times. Yeah, what may have worked for us back then in the day, right, is definitely not working for some of the other young cats today, right? But in order for us, because when we got together, we started to grow together because it was, we practiced that principle, each one reach one, each one teach one. I would say to my brother, I would say, hey, Rax, yo, what about this? Or what about that? You say, okay, brother Tony, you want to move this way? You want that? Oh, that's what this means. Because there's a lot of the language I didn't understand, right? And I was a little bit confused about that. So the point I'm trying to make is this, right? In order for us to be able to grow and to progress, right, with each other, especially the young and the so-called OGs, right? We have to learn from one another.
Yeah. I feel like learning from one another is rare now. Like back in the days, I feel like it was like around your time, it might have been easier to collab with someone and go get something done. Now it's like you show someone something, they're in your face, yeah, yeah, yeah. But whole time they don't want to see that. Like they could know you're about to be great, but they don't want you to be great because they want to be better. But that's not everybody, but a lot a lot of the times is just knowing who you have around you, not just doing business just to do business because it might not even end up being business.
No doubt, no doubt. So and I just, I wanted to let the audience know, right, that we created the Thought Exchange Cafe, right, for brothers like Racks to come in and other brothers and sisters, right, that have changed certain things, right? And now they are in control of their destinies, right? Because there's one thing that I had to learn when I was coming out was that decisions and choices determined my destiny. But as well as that, by not making a decision, I was still making a decision to sit in whatever it is that I was sitting in because it became comfortable to me. Right. And one thing that I've heard and I've seen from you is that you wasn't comfortable where you at. You didn't get comfortable. You didn't
You
let that
never get
comfortability, right, become that weight or your downfall, right? What was the driving force for you? How was you able to, like, man, just throw that up off you, man?
I feel like getting comfortable, like with me, it's a little weird because I tend to not give myself enough credit for what I do. I've been great, yeah, but I always feel like it's not enough.
That's real.
So that's something I struggle with, but at the end of the day, that helps me to not sit there and get comfortable with something just because I made a couple sales today. Oh, let me be comfortable. I can't be comfortable. I'm gonna try to make some more sales.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. And the next thing I want to talk about with you, right, is consistency, man.
It's key.
You know, and the reason why I bring up consistency is because have any of you ever got started on something, right? And then you reach some obstacles or some hurdles or that reasoning mind, like my brother was talking about, the comfortability piece, right? Um, that reasoning mind was telling you, what are you doing it for? Who are you doing it for?
That's doubt.
You know, it's exactly, exactly. If you know, how did you overcome that? Share that with us just as well too, so we can share with other folks. Because I remember, man, being in that doubtful state.
I feel like there's something that I recently went through, like with the clothes. So this I taught myself this lesson. Again, consistency. I was falling off with the consistency on making my posts, sharing the clothes. I'm like, no one wants to buy, no one wants to shop. They don't like what I got. It really, realistically, it don't even matter what it is. If you promote it correctly, you stay consistent, open your platform, make a little video every day. It's gonna be something. So
Mm,
that same week, I was telling myself about the clothes. I I got so many orders I couldn't even handle them myself. And I
wow.
overwhelmed myself that way. And then I was like, you know what? No matter how slow the weeks go, the month go, I could sell no clothes next month. I'm still gonna be posting, promoting, talking to people, interacting, doing everything I do because this is what I want. I might not do it forever, but this is what is being done now. So I got to give it my full force. If I'm not gonna do that, then I might as well not do it. Might as well just take it off, rep someone else's brand. But consistency is key, and I feel like my brother said, you got to be consistent. You can't doubt yourself. You got to have the drive for it, or it's not gonna go. Just
You-
like a car.
no doubt, no doubt. So in closing, right? In closing, you're very positive. You've always been positive, man. Even in some tough times that I've seen you kind of, dealing with some stuff when we was together over at Conrad Bills. Like to throw a shout out to Katrina Conrad, creator and owner of Conrad Bills. Thank you for all the opportunities that you have given me, and thank you for the opportunities that you're giving to this brother,
Lot
because
of
of
them.
you, we are together today. So I wanna send that out. Um, you know, if there was something that you could say to the young folks of today to help them to overcome some of their fears, some of their doubts, what would it be?
Stay true to yourself. Don't let other people's thoughts change something that you want to do. If you want to start something, go start it. If you want to leave the streets alone, leave it alone. Who cares what someone has to say about you? Because it's like a lot of people be like, "Oh, I'm too deep in. I'm too deep in," and then like whatever it is, or they might not be built for it. They want the image, they want the clout for it, but
Mm,
realistically, it don't do no clout. It don't do nothing for you. If that's what you want to do, I ain't judging, but you got to stay consistent with yourself, true to yourself, know what you want, and if you don't know what you want, try to figure out something that could do you good in life.
and those are some keys, right? And we all have the key. And this brother's been using his key very well. And what I mean by key, keep educating yourself. And that's what this brother's been doing. He kept educating himself, and he's continuing to do that today in order to build his brand, his music, but more so building himself first. So once again, in closing, I would like to thank the audience for tuning into this episode today. I'd like to thank you, Rax, for coming into the
Of
studio.
course.
And you know, whenever, brother, you feel like you want to come back in, man, and you want to do something here, man, you want to convey a message. Matter of fact, I'm urging you to come in, right? I'm gonna put you on blast, man. You know, I got to put my brother on blast because I'm urging him to come in and to start his own show because he has some amazing things to say. He can, from this is my perspective. He has a life changing ability, not through the words that he speak, but through his actions, right? And talking about God, right? I remember, brother, you and I, man, getting together, man, and praying together, man, and not being ashamed to pray together,
Could
man.
never be ashamed. He's the creation of all of us, whether people want to believe it or not.
You know, and you also invited me to church, man, on a couple of occasions,
I'm still
man.
waiting.
Yeah. All right, so he just put me. Okay, brother, we're gonna make that happen right here on air. We're gonna make that happen, man. So man, I'm kind of just blown away today, man, to have this opportunity. Oh, and one last thing before we end this episode. Last week, I was on my way to my quiet place, and I have this quiet place where I go every morning, and I go and I pray and I meditate. And this one particular morning, I was going through something, and as I was pulling in to my quiet place, Brother Racx called me up that morning. And he called me up and he was like, Brother T, man, X, Y, and Z, we went through, what's going on. And then he said, Brother, let's pray. Huh? How did he know that I was driving into my place in order to go to pray? He didn't. That was the power of God. God said something to him and he followed, right? And now we ain't Bible thumpers. We're not, we just telling you what is real. We telling you the power that is in you, right? And then sometime if something says something to you, and if it's good, follow that way because I needed that morning because I was in a place in my head that wasn't too good, you know. And after the prayer, I didn't even have to say a prayer because the brother said it for me. So I want to thank you for that, brother. I want
Of
to thank you
course,
for that.
anytime. I
You
was
know.
sent.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So I'm looking forward to having you back here with us. And once again, check out Racx Racx on YouTube. And once again, he is from New Bedford, but he presently resides here in Boston. Check out Racx Clothing. And once again, that's spelled RACD Up Clothing, all custom sets. My name is Tony Davis, and I am the host as well as the creator of the Thought Exchange Cafe, where we bring you educational, motivational, inspirational content that you may be able to use in your everyday life and navigating some of the rough seas of life, as well as, going through some of the treacherous terrain that we all have to kind of, take that path in order to get to a clear road. So, Rax, you want to take us out of here, man?
I appreciate everyone that watched this through the whole time. I hope I was able to spread something that you could obtain and use in a daily life or use sometimes at least. But if you're interested in the clothes, I have 50 different colors you could choose from. I do girl clothes, kids clothes, men's clothes, unisex sets, all different types. Sweatsuits, tracksuits, any type of material you like, top quality. Just you could find me at RACX_RACX on IG, slurring my words. But yeah, once again, IG RACX_RACX. That's my main account, but once you get to there, you could see the clothing line, and let's be great. Subscribe to the channel.
No doubt, no doubt. And for the audience, let's support this brother in all his endeavors. Because once again, right, if he succeed, I succeed, right? If he succeed, you succeed, and that's how it should be right now. Because there's too much division amongst our own
I don't
folk.
know if they can see that. It's
Mm.
okay.
Go right there to camera one. Bring it back, get it into focus a little bit. You kind of. I'm sorry, we'll get it. Bring it up a little bit. Yeah, right about. Bring it back a little bit. Don't worry, y'all. We're gonna get it right. Yeah. Let's see. There you go.
We here.
And what we're going to do, we're also going to put that up under the description. That'll be up under the description just as well, too. So you can go and check him out. And we look forward to having you back again. And when you come back, right, let's set up a display, man, and, display some of your clothing. But as well is, I would love to kind of highlight some of your videos and some of your music, man, because your music is awesome, brother.
Yeah, maybe next time I'll spit something.
That'll be dope. That'll be dope. So we're gonna be looking forward to that, man. Once again, we want to thank Brother Racx for being in the studio. And my name is Tony Davis, coming from the Thought Exchange Cafe podcast. Thank you so much. And I want to thank you for your time, because your time is your most valuable asset. And we look forward to seeing you and seeing your comments just as well. And as well, continue to support the channel, because your support goes a long way. Until next time, peace and blessings, and may God continue to hold you and keep you and protect you.
Amen.
Amen.